Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Aquascorp. Now, I couldn't fit in Gemini in there. I also don't really like identifying with a Gemini. Let me start with that. Since I'm very stream of consciousness and I just sort of have to keep up with my thoughts, that relates to Gemini and a bit of Aquarius too. So, we have our different energies. We have water energy, that's Scorpio. Scorpio always starts with themselves. Hey. There's earth energy, which is something like Capricorn. There's air energy, which is like Gemini, and there's fire energy, which is, your Leos, Aries, or Sagittarius. Could leave any of y'all out because you would be pissed if I did. All these different elements can be found within each person's chart, really. In my own chart, as I said, I have lots of air, and because I have the Mars in Libra, which is an air sign. I have this Gemini rising, and I have an Aquarian moon and midheaven. I have 4 elements in Scorpio: Pluto, Mars, Venus, Mercury. Sorry, not Mars. Pluto, Venus, Mercury, Sun, and then some of my outer planets are in Uranus is in Sagittarius and Neptune's in Capricorn. So right there I have some fire energy, 1 earth sign energy, and then you have where it's placed on your chart, which it's all very complex, and I could explain that in one video and it would make no sense to you. So if you are still following, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the different elements that make this complicated. So we already said that we have the sun, which is the main ego. We have the moon, which is our energy for processing and emotions in our thoughts. We have the rising energy, which is like the public mask that we all wear when we're first getting to know one another. To speak to that one a little bit more, again, I started out with saying Gemini rising, talking super fast, being all over the place. Woo! Think of the Geminis you know in life, or if you are a Gemini. Geminis are not only that, but there is certainly an element to a Gemini that will always be a childlike curiosity, an insatiable need for knowledge and knowing things. Geminis can be in the best ways and the worst ways, right? Gossips, people who like to talk about other people, who want to know about other people. I definitely have an element of that. You have this curiosity to figure things out intellectually. Scorpio has a curiosity to figure things out in a really deep, sensual, emotional, passionate way. So the rising, Gemini rising, is how I first appear. For those of you who have Scorpio energy, it's probably somewhere in your chart. You can probably sense more of an intensity behind me. I have lots of Geminis in my life. I met a lot. I have lots of friends who are Geminis, coworkers who are Geminis, and family members. It's always amusing to me how when I first meet a Gemini, they think, oh, he's like me. And I can sense that because I'm pretty intuitive on what people are picking up. And then there's that point where there's like this sense of fear and dread because they see that I have emotionally reacted to something and I've gone really brooding and silent and my eyes get like this. I'm just sort of staring at someone and they realize that I'm perhaps way more intense and sort of like too intense for them at that moment. There's that disconnect between your rising sign and your sun sign, is I may appear light and fluffy and then someone gets under my skin or I get passionate about something and they're like, stop. And they just back away. And so to speak to that, have you ever noticed in life, I think we all do, there's Gemini rising, presuming that we all feel the same way as I do. Anyway, no. Have you ever noticed how when you first meet people, you may act in a certain way, right? We have our way of protecting ourselves with how we first appear. Well, then we have the way that we act with our closest friends. And there's often quite a big disconnect. Or even with our closest friends, when we're in a group of people, if we're more introverted, we will switch into our rising sign. That's our shell that helps us create a certain public persona that perhaps is more comfortable to deal with than people actually knowing who we are. Because whether you're a Scorpio, like a secretive sign or not, all of us want to protect our inner identity and save it for those who we know really love us and those who we really trust and love back. So rising sign is about that. In the next video, I will talk about Mercury and Venus and Mars. Okay? Tune in again.